Welcome to today's yoga teachings. Today we are focusing on Nauli Kriya, which is the churning of the abdominal muscles. It's a very powerful purification technique from the science of Hatha Yoga purification. And this technique happens to churn the muscles of the abdomen in such a way that it massages the abdominal cavity, and it has a positive benefit on all the organs in the abdominal cavity. I'll be teaching how to do this step by step, and this also, as we do the practice, creates a fire at the level of the navel chakra, and that navel chakra is responsible for our willpower, our dynamism, our ego, and balancing us at this level. And when we do the fire building, it sends the energy up, which is one of the key practices of sublimation, to move that energy up into the higher centers, the higher chakras. So it's got a lot of levels, as do all of our yogic practices. It's physical benefit, energetic, but it also is very enhancing for the mood. It's an uplifting sensation in the mood, and it changes the clarity of the mind. So all of our deep yoga hatha practices actually have 4 levels that they affect: physical, energetic, emotional, and mental. And we need to understand that as we move into our practice, because that helps us to focus on the benefits that we are receiving. And we're going to go into this one step at a time. And the idea is to do at least 12 rounds. And basically there's different steps. The first step is to learn to isolate this middle pillar, it's called. And we do that by moving the stomach in and out slowly. And with practice, we start to gain control over these muscles. And as we gain control of these muscles, a middle pillar will pop out after a few days, few weeks of practice. And that's what we then want to rotate around. So first step is learning how to isolate that middle pillar. Then after we get that, we're going to learn to move it to one side, then to the other side. And finally, the last step is learning to move it in one direction and then the other. And we do this after a deep exhalation through the mouth, and this practice is done with the lungs empty. It's a bit of an advanced practice, but anybody can do it as long as they're not pregnant or menstruating, and if they don't have any already major issues in the abdominal cavity. But it can help us with digestion, elimination, and so many other things in that area. So it's really therapy, and it's a form of medicine coming from our yoga science. So let's go into how to do it. So the first step in learning how to do Nauli Kriya, we place the feet shoulder width apart, so a wider stance, and the feet are parallel. And we lean forward, and we place the hands just above the knees. We never want to put the hands on the knees because that puts unnecessary pressure on the knees. And after months of practice, years of practice, you could create a problem. So we always place the hands above the knees. And ideally, the fingers are facing inward. This makes it much easier because it spreads open the back. Now, the first thing that we want to do is isolate what's called the middle pillar. And we do this by simply pushing out. And I have to do this with an exhalation first. So I'll talk some, and then I'll demonstrate some. And then you'll have to be patient as you watch. Take a big inhale through the nose, then exhale through the mouth. Get all the air out, a couple extra gasps to finish that. So you can see I have to exhale first through the mouth, and then I slowly push the stomach in and out. Now the first times you do this, that middle pillar will not pop out until you get good at it. So all you're doing really is pushing the stomach in and out slowly so you start to gain control. And it will look like this as a beginner. Hard for me to even do it without popping the middle pillar out. But the idea is, as you're learning, push that stomach out slowly, not just letting it pop out or flop out or push it out quickly. Push out slowly with control, pull in slowly with control. And you do that as many times as you can with the lungs empty. Remember, you have to do this with the lungs empty. That's the only way to do this. That's step one. And eventually, after days and even weeks, and trust me, once you get this feeling, it's so good to do this purification every morning because it creates such a sense of purity and cleanliness in all the abdominal cavity, and that energy rising awakens the mind. So it's worth taking the time to invest to learn this practice. Now the next practice, after you learn how to isolate this middle pillar, is you start moving it to the side, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to place both hands now on one knee. I exhale through the mouth, empty the lungs, and as I lean forward, I push my pillar out towards the knee. And as I lean back, I push the pillar back in. And then this is my next practice, just learning how to master the movement of these muscles. So this is what it would look like. So the moving forward with the body helps to move the muscles in that direction. We're not just moving forward, we're moving laterally, diagonally, I should say, towards the front knee. Then after I do that on one side, I try it on the other side. Same thing. Take a deep breath in through the nose, then exhale through the mouth. Let me catch my breath. Place both hands on the knee. Remember, it's always above the knee. You take a deep inhale, then exhale through the mouth. And as you move forward towards the knee, you bend the knee. And you move your hips and knee forward, and then you push the abdomen towards that knee. And as you move back, you pull the stomach, the middle pillar back. So that's step 2, learning how to move the pillar side to side. Just do one side at a time, one breath. And as you start to do this practice more, you learn how to hold your breath with the lungs empty longer and longer. If you can only do one, that's fine. Just start where you feel comfortable. There's no need to cause stress in this practice. The idea is to be relaxed. The final practice is learning how to move that in a circle. And there's a couple things you can do to help that movement. The first thing is just take it slow, okay? This is really important. But the next thing is if you move your buttocks a little bit, it's like you're doing a dance, that'll help get the muscles moving. Eventually you don't need to move the buttocks once you get very good at mastering the muscles. So I'll do the first step first, and this looks like this. So I was moving my butt a little bit. That helps to get the muscles moving. Now, if you can't hold your breath that long, just do one direction. Do a couple rounds, 2 or 3 rounds in one direction. Take a breath, relax, then do the same amount on the other direction to keep balance. But eventually you get good enough with holding the breath, and you can do 5, 10, 15 rounds in one direction, and the same number, 5, 10, or 15 in the other direction. Now, once I get a little better at this, I don't need to move my butt, and the final stage will look like this. Take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth to empty. Then, I take a deep inhale and hold. Hold the breath in the lungs and let that energy move up, the sublimation. So, you could see I move it same direction or one direction 10 times, other direction 10 times, and then I move the middle pillar in and out again 5 to 10 times. This creates tremendous heat, healing, it's therapy. And then after you do that, you take a deep inhale through the nose and you hold the breath. And as you're holding the breath, that fire that you just built sends the energy up. And that's the sublimation process. That's what we want to do with our practice. Send that energy up. First place it goes, the heart. It opens the heart, then into the throat, and all the way into the energy centers, the chakras in the head. Extremely beneficial for all the levels of our being. So I hope you enjoy the practice. Take your time. Be patient. Sometimes it takes a few weeks. It's okay. If you stick with it, you'll have these benefits for the rest of your life. So it's worth trying. Good luck. Thank you.